And we are back with another book review. This one is, it says 2 books in 1, Hoodoo Book Magick, the complete guide to powerful hoodoo spells, rituals, and practices with conjure and root work, Layla Moon. So, this book was pretty decent. It says 2 books in 1, but to me, the writer, whoever, because I don't even think the writer is like, it's a real person, but it's not who they say they are. This has to be like a fake name. But I can't think of the name for those types of writers. Like, I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. So the first half of the book was beautiful. It was pretty good. There with the first and the second half, there's a couple of little things that made me question the authenticity of this book. Like, the writer writes the book like as if they're African American, or they're trying to write the book as if they're African American. They state in the book that they're African American, like, you know, us African Americans, like that type of speech. And the author is Layla Moon. I googled the author. I didn't really find anything on the author, which is another clue of like, this probably not written by a Black person. But just within some of the stuff that they were saying for some of the things as far as I've learned for hoodoo, I don't think that it was an African American author. There are people who are not African American that practice hoodoo. It is supposed to be a closed practice for African Americans only. It's like folklore type thing, and folklore is like kind of more so based on your culture and things like that. But for whatever reason, there are people who just don't want to listen to that rule or whatnot, and I think this is one of those people. The book did have some good, like, general, and when I say general, I mean general information in it. It does have spells that you can do. It does give you a little like background on hoodoo, and as well as a little bit on voodoo and some of the like orishas and loas and stuff like that. So it does give you that information, which anybody can kind of find that information. It talks about like Nat Turner, Aunt Carolyn died, like different folk tales within hoodoo and stuff like that. But just some of the information that they were giving, like, you do this, you do that, it was just like, that is not at all what I've learned. And it's just like something. Hoodoo is like not a religion, so it's like your own personal practice, and you can do things that are like your way. You don't have to do them like, if I say something, you don't have to do it my way. You can kind of like feed off of it and, you know, take it for what it's worth type of thing. And that's how hoodoo kind of works. But there are some like universal laws that we do as like a culture, as a practice type thing, and some of that stuff was incorrect in this book. I'm not going to point out exactly what was incorrect. Like, if you're into hoodoo and you read this, you're going to see it right away or whatnot. It doesn't take a genius to find it. But the book itself was okay. It went over like colors, moon phases, different psalms and stuff that you could use for spell casting. I think it goes over how to like build an altar, herbs and different things like that we use within hoodoo. It went over candle magic, which for me was pretty interesting. I actually like the topics on the candle magic and stuff like that. It was a little bit of stuff that I hadn't heard of, but again, like I said, like some of the stuff that I had heard of was incorrect, so I don't know if this is incorrect. A little bit confusing, but it might just be like universal candle magic, because candle magic is not just, obviously, it's not just a hoodoo thing. So even if somebody who's not hoodoo wrote information about candle magic, it could be totally correct, because candle magic is candle magic. There's just different ways and things how we go about certain things within hoodoo that may be a little bit different from other cultures, practices, and things like that. And again, just like with most witch practices, hoodoo is its own tailored to you type of thing. So yeah, I hope you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I'm kind of talking in a circle, but hopefully that you guys get what I'm saying. But it goes over that. It goes over candle spells, manifestation, different powders and stuff that we use in hoodoo. It goes over hoodoo dolls, which was pretty interesting to me. as far as like breaking down like all the ways that you can use hoodoo dolls. Everyone thinks of them as like the evil, like voodoo, like this and that, and it's just not. That ain't it. It's just not that. And went over mojo bags, which that was another one that was just like a little bit off for me. So I don't know. It went over sweetening jars, charm recipes and things like that, divination. And it just kind of gives you like a pretty good general overview of all these things. And especially like if this were like written how I've been taught to do things, I would have really, really liked the book. But since I know that some of this stuff was just a little bit off and questionable, it makes me sad. And then it makes me sad too, like, again, I can't prove who the author is or anything like that, but I think that it's wrong for authors to pretend to be someone they're not. Like, if it is a person that is not African American writing this book, they could have still wrote the book and just put that out there and let people pick and choose, like, do I want to purchase this book or not? But trying to put it under the false sense that you are African American is pretty wild. So I don't know. I wasn't able to prove it or disprove it or anything like that. So because of that, I would not recommend the book. Just because I can't prove who the author is. And then also, like I said, there's like a couple of discrepancies where in other books I've had some, and again, it's like you can do what you want as you wish or whatnot, but it was just some stuff in here that I was like, you're totally teaching people to do stuff the wrong way. And I wouldn't, especially for a beginner, I wouldn't want them to pick this up and read the book and do stuff incorrectly, even though it's like kind of like some minor things, but it's like minor things that can totally affect the way that you're working your magic and doing your spell work. So it's a no for me. Even though it had like some decent information, some general information, but a lot of the information you could just Google, like the colors, how to use colors with like your candle magic or just colors in general in your practice. Even some of the spell stuff, some of the recipes, like you can just Google. And then another thing that I'm like, okay, it says 2 books in one. And again, they separated the book, but the second book was like as if the author wrote that one maybe first, and then I don't know if they sell the book separate or not. I didn't even check into that, but anyway, it seemed like they wrote that one first, and then they went back and revised it and wrote the second part, which is the first part of the book, and then just like expanded on everything. So it's kind of like you're reading the same information twice, which was like a little bit annoying, trying to read and trying to get through a book. But I was just like, let me read it cover to cover and see how it is. I think there's a couple of little tiny things in the second part. If you do, for whatever reason, purchase this book, I think that there's a couple little things in the second part that aren't in the first part. But yeah, it's just like totally to me like someone trying to deceive you, and so I don't appreciate that as someone buying something. Like me personally, like I want what I am told that I'm being paid for, or that I'm paying for. So that's just how I feel, and hope you enjoyed the book review, and to the next one, have a good day.